I have the giggles because of my next guest. You all know my name. I'm BJ Arnett, and this is This Day with BJ Arnett. And these two over here, right here, have a morning show. God help us all. Let me just say that.
I don't think that was a compliment, do you?
Yes, it is. It is. It really is in the strangest sort of way.
Yes.
Mike and Jeremy in the morning.
Mike and Dooley.
Mike and Dooley.
And Mike and Dooley.
Yeah.
Your first name's Jeremy.
My first name's Jeremy.
But nobody has called him that since
Birth.
or when his mom used to yell at him.
Yeah, I got in trouble. It was Jeremy.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been Dooley.
You all are so funny. I can't even, I'm trying to pull it together because y'all were cracking me up so bad, especially you. And he tries to calm you down, and it doesn't work.
That's kind of the show. He's
I'm
kind
the
of the straight guy. Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
He's the straight guy, and I don't know. It works.
But how did it all happen in the first place? How did you two, unlikely candidates for...
Well, there's not.
Because we have faces for radio, is what you're saying.
That wasn't a compliment.
That's what she's saying right now.
That's not what I meant.
You two. How did you guys get a show?
I'm just saying, yeah, just cut-ups.
All right.
And you know,
Yeah.
the
Well, that's
cut-ups.
how.
That's how.
And that's what people like, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So talk to us about what it meant for you guys to just step into this. What was it that happened?
Well, our wives coach volleyball.
Yes.
And we would sit.
Good women.
Yeah,
Yes.
good women. And we would sit and we would watch them coach and we would commentate on everything. And I don't know how it came up, but you had an idea. I would do church announcements via Facebook for our church members.
All right, on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays. And Mike had this idea. We could do just us and do town announcements and just comment on life in a small town. And he said people would watch it.
No, I said I think 10 people would watch it.
Yeah.
Family members and.
But to my understanding, a little more than 10 ended up watching.
Yeah.
So many thousands.
So we started it out where I went to his office, I had the newspaper, and I had a yellow highlighter, and then I wrote my notes on a yellow legal pad with the yellow highlighter.
Which you couldn't read.
Probably wasn't the smartest thing to do.
Yeah.
So we started the show, and I remember the first day, I called him, because he had it on Facebook, and he just put it on his Facebook page. So I said, how many viewers? He's like 100, or 10, and then 50, and then 100. And then that night, it ended up at like 1,500 viewers for the first show.
For the first show.
And then, so we said, okay, now let's go out and highlight businesses and do that. And so we started to do that, and the viewership went up. And then we felt like God was opening these doors for us. So we're like, you know what? I've always felt like there's so much negative things on TV. Let's do something positive. Let's do something funny. For whatever reason, we have this little platform. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
And so God opened these doors with Summer Brook and the Mountain Faith Band. We interviewed them. That was like 15,000 views, and then we did Elevation Worship, went to Charlotte, and that's at 40-some-odd thousand views.
Yep.
And then they picked us up for local TV. Then we started a podcast. So it's just.
And what was your marketing strategy?
We just turned stuff on and talk.
I love it.
That was
Let God be God, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
As he call it a day.
Well, that's kind of what we've really said is, you know, if God wants us to do it, he'll keep opening doors.
That's what happened. We had that conversation.
And they keep opening, and now we're sitting here talking to you. Your life will never be the same.
Yeah. God opened a great door for you today. Probably take it to the next level there. But we did have that conversation. I said, how do you know where if it's like your ego saying, oh man, I want more views and I want to interview, or if it is God leading us? And he said, well, the doors will open. And it was like door after door after door after door. I was like, golly, man,
You know, the misconception about this whole thing of talk show and all that is that it has to be like this. You know, it has to be at a table. It has to be this kind of interaction. And now with technology, it can be anything that you can imagine.
Right.
The thing that you guys are doing is being real for everybody to see. Just your core is showing so outward to everybody, which is the core of Christ. So as you pull in business people, not everybody's saved, y'all. Come on now.
She put that well.
She did. I feel.
I'm just saying.
I feel.
Not
wow.
everybody.
My head just went. But keep going with what you said, because I like
talking. We like
talking. Yeah, keep going. I like what you're saying.
Anyway, but not everybody's saved that you deal with in the business world.
Yeah.
And they're never going to sit down and watch a Christian program. They're never going to necessarily go inside of the church. So you're ministering to people without saying, Jesus, 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 and you need to get saved.
That's what he sounds like on Sunday. I'm just kidding. But that's true, and that's kind of what we've thought was it's a way to get the word out, especially to a younger demographic that enjoys, for whatever reason, our silly banter.
Yeah.
And use that as a platform.
Yeah. He talks, and I'm the one that gets stuck doing stupid stuff, like diving through kiddie hoops at the pool.
It's good for ratings.
I got on a skateboard at a skate park. It wasn't
a pretty thing.
What else did I get stuck
But it was
doing?
pretty funny.
I ate a cake live. That was pretty easy for me, actually.
You enjoyed
he
that.
ate three, and he ate 3 of them. He went the extra mile for that one.
Oh, my goodness.
It was a good day for me.
But the whole thing has been like
It's been fun.
We woke up one morning and a guy that used to live in Asheville has a clothing company in.
Yeah,
Well, he's
Asheville
from
Threads.
Highlands. He has it in Asheville Threads. So
Asheville
they said
Threads.
we're going to make some Mike and Dooley merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So now all of a sudden you walk around Highland. Have you ever been to Highlands?
No.
You have never been to Highlands, North Carolina?
Highlands,
Okay,
North
we'll
Carolina.
have to go.
Come on.
You have got to come up there. It's beautiful.
Well, when you were talking about it earlier, I was like, that sounds like a place to be.
Oh, it's heaven on earth.
Google it and check it out. It's a beautiful town. But now we see these things all over the place. Which
So because the hometown guys done good.
it's kind of that.
And like these guys, Asheville Threads, they built us a website. So, and it has all our videos and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you're talking literally to two guys who we're not tech savvy. I realize we look tech savvy in America, but we're not tech savvy people.
You don't.
I don't look tech savvy.
It's
the beard.
You look like you're.
It's the beard, isn't it?
It's the beard.
You look like you're a country singer.
I'm
Well,
like
go ahead.
Duck Dynasty meets
But
pastor.
Duck Dynasty. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I lost control.
Yeah, sorry.
Help me.
Yeah.
Help
Ding,
me.
ding, ding, ding.
You
ding,
let us
ding,
talk,
ding.
it's on.
Oh, that's terrible.
But they built us a website, and we went with the podcast, and they funneled stuff through it, and people were ordering stuff, and I mean,
That is wonderful.
yeah, we've had people
The money
buy
goes to
stuff.
charity.
Money goes to charity.
So
We're
that's
not
nice.
making anything off it. We're just having fun.
As you go through experiencing all these different things, I mean, you're just living out life loud so that people can see you.
Yeah.
And they're seeing the fun that can be had, because, there's this old statement that Christians are just fuddy-duddies.
Right.
And you don't seem like fuddy-duddy types.
I don't feel very
I
fuddy-duddy.
don't feel
have
very
your
fuddy-duddy,
fuddy-duddy?
do you?
I don't feel
No.
fuddy-duddy-ish at all. No.
And well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, yeah.
What we found, I think, is that everyone we've met has been down-to-earth people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people get this idea, and I think we had this to an extent, when we start meeting people who are celebrities, people who are musicians, people in, Summerbrook in the Mountain Faith Band or Elevation Worship out of Charlotte. We kind of went in a little bit intimidated. When you see Emmys on the
lined
wall,
up across.
and you're like, wait, where are we at?
Yeah.
And they were the
That
most
was,
down-to-earth, cool people you could meet. And everyone we've met has been that way, have been very down to earth, and just they wanted to talk to us as much as we really wanted to talk to them.
Which has been weird, and help spread the positive news, positive people that are doing positive things.
That's the cool part about your program. It's no sad news stories.
No.
It's all about positive. It's all the things that are going to put a smile on your face. Was that intentional? Was that really the plan? Let's put out some good news. For me, I don't want to watch news these
I don't
days. I just kind of like shun away from it. Let me get it in 10 minutes. After that, I'm done.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't think nothing was intentional. there was no business plan. No, but very quick. Like we figured out.
You're
pretty
laughing,
quick.
but that's true.
That's true.
We still kind of wing it. We're like, what are we doing this week?
We kind of jumped into it, and people started to watch. And when the numbers started taking off a little bit, we thought, okay, we need a little bit of a plan. And our plan was we weren't going to discuss politics. Like we were staying out of that forum.
Good job.
We weren't going to. We were going to talk about like our faith, but we weren't going like really heavy into religion. Our faith we feel like is going to come out
It's
of
gonna
what
show.
it's going to show. It's who we are. And we just wanted to be positive. We felt like Mike said, there was so much negativity going on in the news. We just didn't want any part of that. So we wanted to have some fun.
As you're having all this fun, there are stories that stick out in your mind. Those good news stories, you've got a million of them now. But give me a couple of those stories that made you just stop and say, whew, I just want to say yes to that.
I think when we were interviewing Elevation Worship and learning about how they all came together and came to be part of the band, and the fact that they were just a church group that now has, they're up for Billboard Music Awards this year.
Global.
They're big time.
They're major.
And then just hanging out with them and talking to them. And one of the funny things is he thinks is funny. they give me their cell phone numbers when we meet people.
Hold on.
They gave him.
Yeah. Mike has a gift.
Wow.
Mike can get cell phone numbers from anybody.
Yeah, so a lot of pressure.
So pressure.
No.
It will happen. You'll turn it over. It will happen.
No.
And so Mike will go, yeah, I text so and so from Elevation Worship, or I text Summer
And
Brook in the
everybody
Mountain
else
Faith
is going,
Band. I'm
"What?"
like,
It's funny.
how? And yeah.
But they're just good people. And so, we hope what our show does is allow them to show a different side of them, or use our little platform to expose them to areas that people probably, in the mountains, Elevation Worship's big in a lot of places, Charlotte, those big cities.
Right.
But in the mountains, I don't know how popular they are. So it gave them a little more exposure there.
Yeah.
And it's just been a lot of fun. We've done a carpool karaoke
That's
episode
funny.
where we
That
were
was fun.
singing, and we're going to
ridiculous.
do another one with Summer Brook coming up,
Yeah.
where she's going to be singing, and we'll interview her in the car. Just something a little different. And like I said, really just positive. Try to stay positive, because I don't understand how people turn the news on in the morning, watch all this bad news.
Yes.
Because I find like if local news can't find a local negative story, then they go national. And if they can't find a national negative story, they go internet.
Yes.
So we try to make it so, if you wake up and you watch that, you're going to be in a bad mood already,
All day.
right?
All day.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
You
But,
summed it up.
The fact that you guys.
Was that deep? That was deep,
That
wasn't it?
so
That was
deep.
deep.
That was
I need a
so
tissue.
deep.
Didn't even
Yes, it
touch the
was.
original
Also,
question she asked,
really,
like
what I
30
meant
minutes
was
ago, because you
also-
kept rambling, but it's okay.
It's all right. I love
okay.
it. But
I love
here's a real deal.
Okay.
People don't realize how vulnerable you have to be in order to be the life of the party, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see
Because
that.
you put yourself in the position to be rejected on some level, but you also put yourself in the position when you're hearing all these positive stories, there's this little thing that has the opportunity to sneak up a basis of comparison.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there are all these little things that come through television and radio that we shouldn't be watching anyway or allow into our atmosphere. How do you guys deal with the different things that come your way, the elevation, if you will, the comedy, but the vulnerability that you have to have in order to serve people in the way that you do? Because this is a service.
You go. I got my answer. You do yours first.
Yeah, but you never answered her question. That's a whole different thing.
I'm good
No,
at this. I'm good at
but
interviewing. So you don't answer it directly. Don't you watch interviews?
Very political
Nobody
of you.
answers the question.
Very
they go
political of
really
you.
all the way around
I'll
and come up
get
with a different answer.
eventually I'll get to your question. No,
Answer the question.
I think we're going to be, we are who we are. And I'll give you an example. So one morning we are filming our show. And again, it's on Facebook Live. I mean, it wasn't this, the studio. I mean, and somebody called into us and said, hey, there's a boy who's missing in the woods.
See, that's vulnerable.
We live in the mountains.
Yeah.
People hike all the time. And it was bizarre because our show is completely built around fun and humor and just kind of a rawness of who we really are. And that's what we're doing, is being who we are. And in that moment, someone calls in and goes, hey, this person is missing. Can y'all make a big deal about it?
Wow.
And hopefully we can help find this person.
That was weird.
And in the moment, we're like, you can't make that funny.
No,
Yes, that
no,
was
you
hard.
can do.
And you don't want to make it funny because it's not a funny situation.
Right.
And it was just us being us. And I think that is what's shown through in this whole thing. We're not trying to be somebody we're not. We're not trying to be, we're not celebrities. We're two guys from Highlands, North Carolina, who found out that Facebook had a live thing and we could talk.
Pushed a button.
And people, yeah, I mean, like, we
what is that?
push a button and,
If you-
oh, snap, we're live. Like, it's who we are.
Every episode, though, it starts out like this. Are we on?
Are we on?
Are we
Yeah,
on?
are we on?
Are we on? Because we have to hit the button and then we
Yeah.
don't know if it's
I mean,
going to be on. But sorry, you were in a deep answer there. Go ahead.
was.
No,
was
I
pretty
think
deep.
it's wonderful. That is pretty deep, and I'm running out of time.
Oh,
but
let's
I
keep
want
going.
people.
Should have done.
Part
I mean,
two.
I got
Two-part
more
episode.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
am, but I got to let people know how they can find you on Facebook Live. So what do they do besides push a button and go, what?
Now you don't have to go to Facebook
Right,
Live.
now you don't have to.
You just go to www.mikeanddooley.com.
You think you have to say www?
I feel like I
Hey,
need
some
to.
people are still like that.
Okay, just checking.
She just
All right.
gave me the minutes.
Okay.
You know?
www.
mikeanddooley.com.
mikeanddooley.com. It links you to everything. Our podcast, our old episodes.
MikeandJulie.com. God bless.
Bye.
Bye.